everyone. Cycle. Okay. It's just equal, very bad. Okay.
Maybe it's me, but I can't find the milk. I can't do it.
You need milking. If you I think you will be equal to it. Okay, is it better? Okay, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay, that's better. So what I might do? Can you see my screen now? Okay, that's great. All right. So when you go through work placement, okay, there's a lot of it's the same thing as you go through come to school. You have your self-structure study plans, which is you will go through every week. I really strongly recommend you to go through each week, right? It takes a little bit of time, but it kind of give you some of the structure that what you need to do during that week, yeah? And then you're going to do your work placement, but before you actually go on to do your work placement each week, just to look at your logbook first to understand what do I need to do, yeah? So do I need to plan an activity? Do I need to achieve a certain outcome? Have a plan in your mind, or have a structure, a schedule, yeah? Then you can clearly understand what I need to achieve this week. What a common mistake people make is they just go to the work placement. They just like doing whatever that the workplace supervisor asks of them. They completely forget about their logbooks. They didn't gather the evidence, and they didn't go through their own schedule to achieve what they need to do by the end of the work placement. And then they try to catch up, and all the evidence all over the place is super messy. So what is okay? Someone is talking on iPhone. I'm sorry. I wonder if I can mute everyone. Okay. Let me mute everybody. I can mute everybody. That's right. I mute all. Yes. All right. Now, it's much easier. So what I want you to understand, one important thing that you need is your organizational skill. Okay. So you really need to work out what you need to do each week when you go into the work placement, and you got to complete those work placement tasks during that week. Because if you don't do these kind of things, it will be very difficult in the end for you to complete the logbook. Logbook is huge, right? You got limited time, and then you got to complete the logbook 1, okay, by week 4 and week 5. So your assessor will not come and visit you if you have not completed logbook 1, right? Because if you haven't said anything out to your assessor, then she cannot assess anything. So you need to complete your logbook 1 before your assessor come and visit you, which is in the middle of the work placement. I believe it's week 4 or week 5, week 4 or week 5. And after that, you're going to go through the logbook 2. Once the visit complete, generally, we are not looking to give you another visit, right? So if you do have another visit, which means that you are not competent during the visit, which is very unlikely. But if we do have a supervisor at your workplace can plan and say, no, I don't think I can pass this student, right? And then that means that a second visit, we had to be arranged. I believe it's $200 or something. Yeah. So you have to pay additional fee if you require second visit. Okay. And also, I also have a student has some conflict and problems with their work placement host. And then what happened is she had to redo all her logbook, right? I'm not sure about the logbook, but she had to do all her work placement in another center. Like we have to organize another center for these students, right? So it is actual work, actual effort, actual money. Yeah. So just to be mindful that not only the assessor need to pass you, your workplace host also need to pass you, and they have to be confident that you'll be a competent educators. Okay. So now we are going to look at the materials. Okay, a lot of paperwork that you need to work through. Okay, we can scan through all these ones. Yeah, this one isn't as important as notebook because those materials are available to you. You just need to understand it. What is there for you? Yeah, if you don't understand what is there for me, you know, you're kind of lost. Yeah, so let's go through the material first, and then afterwards I will go through the logbook with you. Okay, so when I go through the logbook with you, you're going to be very, very careful. Take some notes if you have to. Okay, this video is also a good tool for you to go back and watch if you have any questions. Okay. So now we look at the structural study plan. It is the same thing that what you have done previously. Okay. So they give you a week, they get kind of schedules. They say, what do you need to cover this week? Yeah. It's similar to what you have to do. And the content of it, okay, the content of it, it's also very similar. So what we have to cover from turn 1 to turn 3, it is the knowledge. Yeah. It's the knowledge, your understanding. But now you are applied your knowledge into the skills. You're going to practice your skills now. Okay. So the requirement is slightly different, but it is based on what you have taught from turn 1 and turn 3. Right. So it's slightly different. A competent-based training is knowledge and skills. Okay. So now it's turn 4. It's about to putting your skill into the practice, and you gather those skills and you're competent. Okay. So now the structure, let's go through just one example of the structural study plan. Okay. So you are required to complete those structure plan as well. Just don't forget. Yeah. It's not only just go to the work placement, do my logbook, and forget about structure plan. It is the same thing that you must do. Okay. So you go through the content and then the structure plans. It's the same thing. It's like doing an assessment. Yeah. So what you're looking at the moment is the trainer guides. So I have the answers that it might be appropriate. Okay. So go through this one and then answer it and do your structure. And the benefit of doing the structure plan prior to you go to the work placement is you gotten the understanding of what is expecting from you this week. If you do it afterwards, it's not as helpful. Okay. So if you can do it a little bit before, maybe one night before you go to work placement, you say, okay, yeah, I kind of mentally prepared. So this is this week what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So do the structure plan prior to go to work placement. Sorry? No, you don't have it. This is mine. Yeah, this got the answer. Yeah. So this is a training guide. Okay. So I got the whatever answer that will be. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm not supposed to. Okay. So, and then this is a structure plan. One thing. Another thing, before we go to the logbook, okay, we are going to look at the other things that you have access to. Okay. The other material, it's right there. It's rather than going to elsewhere, Google it, look at what you already have. It's really important. Okay. So for example, this is the structural study plan. And then after that, you will have the student guides. Yeah. So structure plans, all the answers you can get to this the resources, right? And then you look at the assessment template. So when we ask you some questions like, what observation tool do you have? Do you understand? Can I ask you a question? What's observation tool? Yeah, you're gonna learning story, observations, jotings, and all the kind of things. Anecdote, advanced samples, ABC method. Okay, those template is already there. They developed it for you. So if you are gonna take observations for a child, so there's a two way that you can take it. Yeah, one is using your services too. Okay, if they're using Story Park, they have the format already. Use the services first, or if they don't want to use services first, use the one ALG provided for you. They develop it for you. Much easier. You just need to follow and fill in the template. Okay, let's have a look at the template. Quite simply, Jordan. Okay, so for example, child's name, where is it? Age, remember we talk about observation. The age is very important for analyzing. And then what time and date, all this information need to be filled out. Jordan is the records, running records of what learning has happened. Okay, and then that is the record. Yeah, we just write a narrative way to capture the learning moments as much as we can, and then analyzing the learning. That's it. Yeah, so it doesn't go through the planning aspect. Yeah, we haven't gone to the planning part. So when you got observations, that is just a way of you to capture the informations about learning. Yeah, and then after that, we can go back. Remember the observation too. It is very they serve different purposes, right? So running records, anecdotes, right? Sometimes we need to take observations about a child's behavior. Sometimes we want to see, again, is that what we want to capture that significant milestones or learning moments, and they use a different way of those and observation tools is going to assist you for that purpose, right? So just remember, observation tools are available for you in the student resources. If you don't want to use your services ones, which is they also we have, you can use the ALG one. And then after that, then there's the other things template, observation record permissions to observe form. So what this form does is when you need to ask for your parents to give you the permission to record, to take observation of their child or access the information about them. Yeah, the family structure, culture, and things like that. Yeah, remember we need the parents' permission form to observe children because that's by the legal requirement. This is a part of legal requirement. You cannot not do it. Yeah. Do you remember last week we talked about legal requirements? Yeah, confidential and privacy law. Yeah, you need the permission to get those records. Okay, so this is a part of it. Permissions to observe form. So print this right out. Okay, those are the things you need to print out. Take a note. Yeah, take a note. These are things you need to print out. Okay. So you of course you're gonna have those information for your room leader or someone. Okay. So for example, child Jack, his mom's name is Maria. So you want to get those information for your supervisor. Then your supervisor will tell you, okay, this is the child. I think it will be appropriate for you to observe. Okay. You say, okay, dear Maria, I would like to observe Jack. Yeah. And then can you please give a permission for permissions? And then they just have to sign it in here, the name, yeah, the full name. Always remember full name. Okay, when you do any legal documents, don't just put your first name. Okay, always full name and date. Okay. So this is the permission form to, I don't know why it's always coming back to this one. So anyway, it's okay. So that's the form that you need to print out, permission to observe. Okay. And then if you want to print out like those templates, you can as well, or you can just do it on your laptop. Of course, that logbook is mostly as electronic, so you can type it up with your computer as well. But if you find carrying the computers going to work is quite difficult, okay, print out those templates, handwrite it. It's going to be very helpful, and authentic. We love handwritten stuff, okay? And then so that we know, okay, you actually did these observations, you know, and this is your handwriting, I can recognize. And then you obviously put your name down as well, right? So print it out if we prefer. It's not going to cost too much papers and printing, okay? And then what I want to do is I want to go through the logbooks with you. Are we clear now? Are we clear what we need to do? Yeah. So when you go through the logbook, there will be other things you need to print out. I will go through one by one with you, okay? So the logbook has a logbook 1 and logbook 2. Like I said, logbook 1 need to be complete the halfway before your assessor come and visit you. Logbook 2 you need to complete afterwards. Yeah. So by the time now, logbook is almost going to be due. Yeah. So obviously the similar stuff, admin stuff, don't get it wrong though. Like I found that some people they don't even get the most basic things right. You got to remember those are actually legal documents. Yeah. So RTOs, the education department, when they check your work, you need to have your full name. Okay, you need to have your student ID and your assessor's full name and spell it correctly because this is a legal document. So when ALG they give you some like, okay, yeah, your assessor is a Kai Law. Okay, remember write it down properly because you don't write it down properly. It's it's not me, it's someone else. Okay, I don't need to be responsible for it. It's been silly, right? Anyway, after that, what the first thing first, you need to upload all the relevant documents. Okay, so for example, the workplace I used to have to write to mark those agreements. Yeah, we don't have to mark those agreements anymore. Okay, so what you need to do is that you basically just need to have the induction form. The induction form, to remember, you must complete it not by anyone else, by yourself. So you need to go through it and ask those questions and find out all these information before you go to the work placement. Okay, and why is that? Because if you don't know how to access those informations, you don't know how to answer your questions. If you don't know how to access to, for example, child protection policy and procedures from the service you do work placement, how are you supposed to answer the questions? You don't. Okay, so you need to know to go through each of the induction questions, understand where I complete this bit. So I know, okay, if I need to get something, I need to answer some questions, I know where to get it. Yeah. Do you know where is the work placement, your work placement, health and safety policy and procedures? Yeah. Where is the checklist? Where is all of that? Yeah. Where is the opening checklist? Where's the closing checklist? So that's what induction is for. It's preparing you to work, right? For example, if I'm going to going to apply for a job and they say, yes, thank you. You are hired, you're wonderful, and all of that. And then during their work placement, during your onboarding, they generally we will have induction. Okay, they will tell you where can you use the toilet, yeah, where is lunchroom is, where's the coffee facilities, all of that, yeah. And so go through the induction process by yourself because you aren't going to work. Generally, people will walk you through it. They do the checklist. Some childcare center, when they hire you, they go through they check, and they have to make sure that you understand it because this is part of legal requirements. Okay, because they don't go through the induction process. What happened is, if something goes wrong, I don't know. No one told me. Yeah. But in the work placement, you must do this one yourself, and you have to tick, you have to sign it yourself. Yeah. So do that, the work placement induction form. You must complete. Can you see the task that you need to complete? So days of work, starting time, lunch time, finish time. Yeah. Sign in and out process, procedures. When you go to work in childcare center, you need to sign in and out because you're not part of employee. Yes.
Do we need to print this one out?
Yeah. This one have to print This is the sign. You need to find out the sign in and out procedure with your work placement. They will tell you need to write in the visitor log. Do you know visitor log? So you're not actually employee, you are instead of a student. Yeah. So you're visitors. So you need to go through the sign in every single time. Sometimes they have an electronic ones. I sign it out like electronic ones, all the handwritings. Yeah. So this is for you to understand how to sign in and out when you go to the work placement every single day. You don't need to show me your sign in and out because that's not part of the logbook. We go through that later. And then emergency process. Yeah. That's fine because you already know how sign in and out. Even your employee, do you sign in and out as well? Yeah. That's right. So you know how to sign in and out. So this is just for you to understand how to sign in and out. We do not need the evidence of it, but you need to find out how to sign in and out in your workplace. Okay. And then emergency process. Yeah. So if you don't know, okay. Yeah, Kelly. Okay. Okay. So when you go through the emergency process, you need to go to your work placement, find out where is emergency procedures are. Yeah. Do you know what's an emergency process? I'm going to cover a little bit with you. Do you understand, Luciana? That's right. So you must find out where is your emergency procedures are. They have the emergency evacuation plan. Okay, you need to be able to locate those things. How exactly? How important is this emergency? You have no idea what to do. How to assist children? Okay, then you have all the things you need. Where is the emergency evacuation plan? Okay, and where is the meeting point? Okay, and where is the lockdown process? Yeah. So what if there's some dangers outside of the center? Which route are we going? What are we going to do? Okay. So you must complete these emergency procedures with your work placement. Okay. You find out about all of that and understand it. What we're going to do. Okay.
So it means for this introduction, we only need to read and know that.
Yes.
And then we'll just write out the
No,
text.
doesn't need any evidence.
Yeah.
Self-checking. That's right.
Complete mean when we get the observation, the thing, the point,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So for example, today is 18th of September. I'm going to work in the Guardians in the Collins Street. Yeah. So I'm going to do my work placement there. The first thing I need to do, yeah, may take 2 hours to do these inductions, but I'm not going to, that is not count as part of your work placement. Yeah. So you go there, you go through the process before you go to work placement hours, and then you find out about it. Yeah, I'm going to say, okay, you know, the college student is very high buildings. Where is our emergency evacuation plans? Where is the meeting point? You know, meeting point can be over there, can be over there. Yeah. So for example, LG meeting point can be downstairs in chemist warehouse in the hall, right? It could be in the corner. So they usually also have 2 meeting points. Yeah. One is the meeting point is very close by. The danger might be, you know, gone by the time we got there. Sometimes you also have to be further. So there's a whole fire in this whole building. You might have to go to the Flagstaff Gardens to meet there, or everybody is going to meet there. Okay. So this is just emergency for you to understand and to keep as declarations for us to understand. Okay, you guys got it. Yeah. Does it make sense? Just for you to understand that you understand. Yeah. It's actually for us to know that you understand it. Yeah. Self-checking. And then another thing is where is the policy and procedures? Where does it located? Generally, they located online. Okay. And if you've been working in there, you say, okay, we can't give you online access to our policy and procedures. You at least need to be able to locate the physical copy. Okay. And then key people in the workplace. Who do you report to? Who's responsible? Who is the manager? Okay. What's the name of the manager? Okay. Who is educational leader, which is also important. You work closely with educational leader. Who is the room leader? In which room? And where is the educators? Who's educators in the cabin room that you might do your work placement? Understand all these key people, okay? To know them. And dressing dress code. So how are you going to dress in the childcare center? What is the standard dressing code? Can I go to work like this? This is the whole different dressing code. Okay. So ILG requires us to dress in the business what's called RP. Yeah. So I can wear boots, I can let my hair down, I can wear dresses. Okay. But when you're going to work in the childcare settings, it's tiny little bit different. Yeah. And then each of the childcare has different requirements. Some of them, they say you must not do minimum makeups. Your hair needs to be up. Yeah. You need to wear the black pants. Yeah. Yeah. And then you're going to have a flat. You wear a high heel, right? It's not going to be very safe. Yeah. So it's not safe for you, it's not safe for children. So you might have to wear harness, black flat, and or the black flat. Okay. Depends how strict they are. And some childcare center does not have a uniform at all. They encourage you to express yourself. Yeah. So each childcare center are a little bit different. Okay. Yeah. So they always have a dress code. They will have a staff dress code. It's really so inappropriate when young girls, they go wear very, very short skirts. It's not good because it's so revealing. It's not professional, right? You don't want to wear a mini skirt when you're bending down, looking at the children and all of that. Yeah. So just to be mindful how you dress yourself. It is sending a very strong message to people that is interact with you. Are we professional? Are we appropriate? Are we here to look after your children? Yeah. So just be mindful of how you wear, and then you're gonna comply with those dressing codes as well. Okay. And then for work health and safety too, for example, when you're serving food and your hands down, the hair sometimes fall into the food. Okay. So sometimes when you're serving food center, they must wear what's this called apron? Yeah, the apron. And then your hair needs to tie up. Yeah. If you're helping in the kitchen, there's another dressing code as well. Yeah, for the people who work in the kitchen. And then afterwards, when so limits of the students' growth, boundary of what they can and cannot do as a student. So just be mindful of this one too, because some childcare centers have very, very strong boundary. For example, you are not allowed to be with the children a lot because you don't have a ratio. That's right. All centers. That's a legal issue. That's right. It's a legal issue. Yeah. And then it also means even though, for example, you change a child's nappy, some centers are okay. You can change the children's nappy while I'm observing you, right? But some centers like you are not allowed to change the children's nappy. So in this case, you are going to be pretty difficult for you, right? Because you have to complete some of the practice and you have to go there and learn. So why don't you go to find that in the work placement? Identify those issues before you complete halfway of your work placement and realize, what, there is actually no way for me to learn how to change nappy because you're not allowing me to change nappy at all. It's not going to help me to learn how to be educated and be competent. And then our requirement is that you must know how to change nappy, and I have to observe you to change nappy. If you're not allowed to do that, is it a big issue or not? Yeah. So find out about the boundary. For example, Flo has gone to work placement, and they won't allow her to go to do work placement in another classroom, which is different age group. Okay. for our trainings, we have to practice to work with all different age groups. So if their boundary is that, we can't let you to work with all three. That boundary is conflicting with what we are, with our non-negotiable. Yeah. So learn about those boundaries. I said, I'm going to do my majority of my work placement in the baby room and the toddler's room. But I also need to do some activities over 3 years old. Okay. And they have to agree to it in the very beginning. Okay. If they don't agree to it, in the end, you stop. Yeah. So know about what the boundaries are. Okay. And another thing, how you will be receive support and supervised. Okay. You want to know how much support do you have? Who's going to be your supervisor? Yeah. Who is directly going to responsible for your study? Because now you don't have a teacher. Do you have a teacher? No, you don't have a teacher anymore. The work placement is your learning environment. Yeah. Your teacher will be your supervisor. It's that simple. They have to be responsible for all your learning day, along with you, contribute to the experience as well. But they are the one to check. I can check as well as assessor. I will check how are you doing. But their feedback and report make up the big component of it. Yeah, they need to understand that you're able to do this. They need to make sure that you're able to do that. Because I'll come here, I only will see you for 1 hour. Yes, I'll see you are competent. But at the same time, I always need to check with supervisor. And if they are confident that you're competent. Right? So you need to find out who is directly responsible for you and your study, your work placement, as well as they will be responsible for you to support you as well. Yeah. And then of course, where to place your personal belongings, like locker rooms, where you get access to the toilet and that kind of things. Yeah. And then you just sign in. This is for you to sign when the induction is completed. Yeah. It won't take very long. Take 1 hour, I think maximum, or not even 1 hour. Just ask a few questions and then you can sign it. Yeah. And this one you print it out. Yeah. Please print it out. If you don't want to print it out, you can do it electronically. And when your signature, you can use the electronic signature as well. Okay. Yeah. It's up to you if you want to print it out or not. Okay. Now we're going to look at the second one. It's called attendance log hours. So this is when you go to work every single time, right? You need to sign it. Your supervisor need to sign it. Okay. And then this one, it's your name. Remember your full name. Okay. Your supervisor's name and position. Your supervisor need to be the room leader. Need to also, importantly, this supervisor cannot be your director. Because director cannot supervise you. Okay. If they don't counter other things. They supervise the whole setup. They're not supervising you. Your supervisor needs to be your direct supervisor, which is the room leader. And they must hold diploma qualifications. Okay? Yeah. If they don't have a diploma qualification, at least they need to be actively working towards the diploma qualifications. All right. So that's a work placement supervisor's name, obviously full name. Don't give just the first name. Yeah, it's a legal document. You need to have a full name, and then workplace assessor's name. Workplace assessor is when you go to work placement, they give you assessor, and then their full name. Okay, and then you just go through it every single day. Don't go to write it down something and then ask the supervisor or student to sign it. Okay, and then what's the main task? It's the day and the time, start the time, finish, and then total hours. You got to calculate how many hours you do in that day, and then the room. So when we talk about the total hours, you do not use your lunch break as your working hours. Yeah. So for example, I started 9 to 5. Okay, how many hours is that? 9 to 5 is 8. Yeah. What if then you got 1 hour lunch break? That's 7. Okay. So what if you take only half-hour lunch break? That's 7.5 hours. So your lunch hours is never counted as that part of the work placement hour because you aren't doing that hours in the work placement during the hours. You are having break. Okay. So your break, tea break is different. Okay. Lunch break is need to be taken out in your total hours. Okay. So the time start, I might start 8:30. I might finish at 5:30. Yeah. And then I have 1 hour lunch break. And then the total hour is 8 hours. Tea break can count as a work placement hours. Yeah, just the lunch break, okay? And then the room. Now we look at the room. I really don't want you to write down, say, sea fish room, or turtle room, or kangaroo room, okay? No one every single day. Yeah. Once you finish, they got to sign it. And then the task is that, for example, today, what did I do today? The task. For example, I might go to assist the nappy change. Yeah. I might be assist the setting up the indoor environment. Okay. I might assist children during meal time. Okay. Or I might assist the bottle feed the baby. Yeah. Or I might assist to tidy up after the mealtime, cleaning. Yeah. So all those tasks, which is what do you do during that day? Write it down. Be brief, but write it down. Can be a dot point. Yeah. Don't go on about a lot of things. Just write it down a few dot points. That the main task that you did. Okay. And then after each page, assessor is not going to go through every single day and calculate your hours. Okay. After each page, write down that page how many hours you did. So total number of hours for this page. So when the assessor need to calculate in your hours, they can just take the hours. Okay. So this is what you need to do. This one, ALG asks you to print out the hard copy paper. We want you to handwrite it. We want your supervisor to handwrite it and sign it by hand. Yeah, physical signature. Okay. Yeah, note this one is very important. Can you write it, please? Note it down. Okay. Thank you. And then after this long hours, this one I give out some folders before this term, a few weeks ago. So this is the things, the folder, the physical folder that you can take it. Yeah. Yeah. So print this one out and then have a physical folder and take it to work with you every day along with your laptop, So that you can take it out, say, supervisor, can you sign it for me for today? Yeah. It's just standard practice. One more thing, this is not covered in here, but I want you to do, okay, is I want you to write down a bit of an introduction to yourself when you're doing work placement, because it doesn't cover in here. They didn't ask you, say, put your photos on and things like that. I will cover that a little bit, okay? Let's go through the logbook first, but I will ask you to have this sort of introductions of you, where you came from, like if you came from Australian Learning Group, okay? Yeah, and then I'm gonna do a work placement here, a little bit about myself, my visions, my philosophy as educators, and then conclude it, say, you know, thank you for your support and things like that. Okay, so no, if you're working there already, you don't have to do that. This is for you to go to a new center. No one knows you. They wonder who you are. They don't know if you're students or you're educators. Okay. Yeah. So the parents don't understand. They might feel like uncomfortable. They don't know who you are. Why you're here. Yeah. So that introduction is to introduce yourself to the family, to the other educators as well. Right. So we'll go through that a bit later. But this is my person. I don't think it's covered in here, but that's what I think you should do. Okay. So we cover the attendance logbook. Now we are going to jump to the assessment. Okay. So what the assessment is basically for you to do is just to answer the questions. Yeah. Answer those questions. Do what they ask for you to do. Okay. So let's go through the first assessment task. So task 1, the project portfolio. So this is required to reflect on the work you already have done in your work placement to work effectively in children's education and care. So for example, what is the overall rating of the service against national quality standards? How do we access to that? Do you remember? Go to ECEC website. Okay. And then you're going to write down the name of your service. Okay. Yeah. So for example, Guardians College Street, okay, is rated exceeding against national quality standard. Put the link on. Okay. You can put the link on if you want. Okay. And overall rating, this is got the overall ratings. Yeah. And then after that, you can write down here what according to the ECEC website, what's their ratings are. Okay. I have so many students don't know how to access to this. They just made up. This is education program and practice is meeting the standards on their own judgment. No. You don't need a screenshot. You just say write it down. Education program and practice meeting against a national quality standards. Okay. Don't go through don't create a lot of work. Just make sure that you answer the point. That's enough. Okay. And then physical meeting or exceeding whatever. Okay. Just that's it. Against national quality standards. Okay. That's one question down. Roles and responsibility. List all the roles. Always read the question properly, because if you don't read it, you're making mistakes. It's gonna come back to you. Okay. See, list all the roles, not just 2 or 3. Means all the people who work in the childcare settings. Okay, and what is your role? Are you educator or are you student educators? Okay, yeah. What's your role? And then what's your right associated with your role? What's your right? Right to have a work health and safety maintained. Right to have induction process complete. Yeah. Right to have break. Yeah. And those are your rights. And right to what else? Just to think about what's your rights that you associate with you. Right to have break, right to have work health and safety information, right to have access to work, like for example, policy and procedures. Those are your rights, like what you can do. Yeah, within your right when you're working there. Right to comply your duty of care. Yeah, things like that. And the responsibility as well. What's your responsibility? You might be, and also rights to have a support from your supervisor. It's also your right. Okay, and your responsibility will be assisting children, maintain children's health and safety, and all the things that you're meant to do as educators. Yeah, you just need to list 3. Okay, and then what skill and knowledge? Now skilled, like think about skill. Communication skill isn't a skill. Yeah, conflict resolve skills, time management skill, organizational skills. Okay, those are skills. Okay, and now think about knowledge. What's knowledge? Knowledge is, for example, knowledge to understand children's development. Yeah. Early childhood education and care, legal and ethical requirements. That's knowledge. Yeah. Information that what you understand. Yeah, that's knowledge. And what are the rights of one other roles you listed? So for example, the other roles, what other roles do we have? Do we have educators, lead educators? Yeah. What other roles do they have? What are their rights? Yeah. Think about their rights. What about a cook? What about maintenance persons? What's their rights? Yeah. So think about all those things. Okay. At least 3, and what are their responsibilities? Think about someone is a little bit different than you. Like, for example, the cook, maintenance person. Okay. And what skill and knowledge does the role above require? This is talk about another person's skill and knowledge. There's a different skill knowledge than you. Okay. So basically, I don't want to go through every single thing. Okay. But let's look at those things that where people making common mistake. Okay. So policies and procedures. So those policies and procedures, the service have addressed employment. So this is very tricky. You got the answer to the exact thing that what they're asking for. What is addressing the employment at the service? The staff policies, employment, isn't it? Staffing policies, that's addressing the employment. And what about the recruitment policies? That's employment, isn't it? And what about work health and safety? Yeah. What about the staff qualification policy? That's employment too. Yeah. So you need just list 2. When you have access to the policies, okay, it's very easy for you to identify which part is belong to which requirements. Employment, what is employment? Okay. And then, for example, the process service will follow if you apply for jobs as educators. Now, what we talk about is that if this service will follow, like for example, I'm going to apply for a job. What about it? What will they do? They're going to scanning your resume. Yeah, they're going to scan it for right candidates. They're going to go through the interview process. Yeah. And then they will give you, once you're selected, what else they will do? Onboarding process, induction process. Yeah. So this is the procedures the service will follow. Okay. Don't get it wrong. A lot of people get it wrong. Okay. So we'll go through all this naming. Naming doesn't need to go a lot. Just list. Name is list. List a few the policies. That's it. Okay. Don't make it too complicated. Then now we go to 5 requirements for the policy and procedure identified above that you need to follow. Then you just write down all these requirements. So for example, requirement related to education and program practice. What's the requirement? For you to take an observation is in the part of requirement and analyze it against the developmental milestone and early learning framework. That's part of requirement as well. Okay. So after that, so this is the question. Lots of people got it wrong. Name the policy and procedure that address presentation and uniform standards. This is dressing code. Dressing code. Okay. So how you wear. Okay. How are you going to present yourself? That's it. So how you follow the survey presentation and uniform standard? So they will ask you that you need to wear whatever the dressing codes asking of you. You just go through the policies. Your hair might have to be tied up. Your nail might have to be trimmed, and that kind of things. Okay. Now we get into the fun bit. Okay. So provide the example how you start the advice from your supervisor on those questions. You're asking questions. That's easy for you to do. And planning. Now we're going to the planning activities. So, for example, maintaining children's health and safety, what will you do? Teaching children wash their hands. Okay? Isn't that maintaining children's health and safety? Yeah. Collaboration with family and community. What that looks like. Yeah. Greeting families on the arrival each day. Isn't it collaborating with families? Okay. Improving the induction process. Sorry, not induction process, orientation process. Asking, review those questions. That's also an activities. Are the questions are effective? Yeah. Those things, whatever that you come up with. Yeah. For your understanding. And then now, this is a fun part. Look at these things here. Activity 1, daily activity related to children's health and safety. So you need to understand what is daily activity. Is what you do every day. For example, I have a student that related to children's health and safety by painting with toothbrush on the teeth cup out activities. Yeah, they are teaching about oral hygiene, but is it daily activity to teach about children the actual health and safety? The actual health and safety is washing hands, brushing teeth. Okay, so that's daily activity related to children's health and safety. That teaching children have an understanding, but that's not a daily. Do you do that every single day? No. So daily activity is what you do every day. Okay. So for example, the next question, collaboration with family and community. Okay. What's this one? How about this? The daily reflections, daily diary. Do you do that every day? Take photos, tell the parents what you do every day. That's collaborating with family every day. Okay. So that's, you got to understand this bit quite carefully. Okay. Because you got it wrong, you have to do the whole thing again. Yeah. They send it back to you. You got to do it again. Now, look at this. Look at wherever you see this one here, please pay attention. What is that? Attachment. You must actually attach something, okay? And evidence, because we are evidence-based training, so you have to have evidence. And then really understand what is asked of you, okay? For example, this one. Provide an example of how you share the written information related to activities as a parent, carer, or another educators. Now you look at this one, they ask you how you communicate. Yeah, written communication, very important. Don't come up with like, I said, this physical activity is beautiful, I take a photo. Is that communications? No, it's not a written communications. Yeah, so you need to write an email, say, look, I'm going to either with like your room leader, I'm going next week I want to organize based on my observations or something. I want to set up maybe under the sea. Yeah, under sea activities. For example, this whatever activity that will be, the resource I need is like this, and I will get those resources and the time, what time will be happening, and blah 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 blah. Okay, how I'm going to implement it. That's written communications. Even you ask the permissions. For example, dear Kite, I would like to implement an under the sea activity for children to explore the ice, and I'm going to put the little sea animals and then freeze it with ice, right? And do you think, even just a quick question said, do you think it's appropriate? What time do you think it would be best for us to do it? Yeah, you're organizing this activity with your supervisor and you are communicating them. Yeah, so that's written communication. That attachment is not about you can't take a photo of the actual activity and say, this is my written communication with my supervisor. No, that's the actual activity. You actually did it. You understand what I'm saying? So carefully read what is asked of your evidence. That's very important, okay? So every single time you see the paper click, okay, it's asking you for attachment. You either gonna get a screenshot, take a photos, even you take a photo of like a paper, on the paper you write something down, address or your supervisor or other educators or the parents, take a photo, use your phone, click, that's it, that's your evidence, okay? Even just handwriting on the paper, okay? And then so many, what the mistake students make is they say, I communicated with my parents on the pickup or on arrival. I'm sorry, that's not evident. Patients, okay?
So you have to switch to the email.
Yes, you either can use the service, they just go, each question asks a different thing, and communicating with you guys have a group chat with your supervisor. That even group chat, they talk about work. That's also communications. Even though it's informal, that's also still communications. And some centers, they do have out there, people are just like, okay, what I need to do today? What's message this passing on? They just look at the communication book. So old-fashioned, so effective. Okay. So that's also a communication. Take a photo of that. It works as well. Okay.
And just send something in the group.
Yes.
Like a screenshot.
That's right. Whatever relate to the activities, the communications related to the activity you need to do with your supervisor, even though you just sending out the message to communicate with them, that's evident too. Okay. And then, so make sure you always attach all the things you need. Okay. So sometimes they ask you to do a few things. So for example, this one, two tasks you need to do. Firstly, is the list the steps you took to complete the activities. Don't miss this bit, okay? You need to write down the list that you took to complete this task and then the attachment. Not only just attachment, okay? You also need to list this one, okay? So this is what you need to go through. This is quite simple. Just read properly. My best advice is to read the question properly. Otherwise, you get it wrong. All right. So this is I'll ask you to do all the activities, all of that, and then you will get to. This is a supervisor report. Okay. So for example, you complete the task. This one is what you need to print out. You print out the supervisor report. Okay. Task one, they want to see this, for example, yeah. Move up. Which bench?
Just up there a bit more, please. Up, please. About the
Which one?
conflict resolution.
Conflict resolutions. So you don't understand this question? Okay. For example, last time that you mentioned there was a bit of conflict with the other educators, putting the head down and not supervising the children. So the conflict it will be one educator is not supervising children outside adequately. Okay, that's a conflict and putting the children at risk. And then you have to put extra time or effort to manage the whole classroom, things like that. Whatever conflict that it will be, okay, anything, okay? And then you are going to use how you're going to communicate, right, to prevent the conflict. Yeah, I approach this person in a nice and calm manner and address the issue with him and request him and to please make sure that you scanning children all the time while you're supervising the children to make sure children are safe. Yeah. So that's how you use your communication to resolve the conflict. Yeah. That's okay. And then now you go to the supervisor report. This one, print it out, supervisor have to tick for you. Okay. And then, and comment. Yeah. Go through each one. They're happy with it. They tick, tick, tick. Most of the supervisor, they tick it for you. Yeah. And then the comment, they usually very positive comment. Okay. And then remember their full name. Full name, full name, full name. Positions need to be written down. And a signature, they have to sign it. And the date. Okay, these 4 components must complete. Okay, and then when you do the attachment, please make sure that you attach it with the full picture. Okay, it doesn't even matter. I can't see it properly, but don't have the cut out that leave out some part of it. It's not, we can't have access to it. Okay, even though you have to take photos, maybe very, very small, whatever, but you need to have the whole page. Okay, make sure you attach it to the whole page. Best that we have to read it clearly. Okay, so don't attach it to half the page or something like that. Yeah. So now we're going to go through the assessment task 2. Okay. Have a breakfast. Yeah. Have a break and come back 11 o'clock. Okay. And then we go through each of the tasks. It will help you a lot. Okay. Okay, how do I post it? Contribute to the improvement quality improvement plans. Okay, so when you go to your work placement, they might have meeting in educational program planning. Okay, and then how you're going to contribute to it to improve it to get into a higher rating to be exceeded, right? So maybe you want to say for example, to have to develop a checklist, okay, to checklist to document children's learning on a regular basis for all educators to be participating in. That what happened is that suggestion, okay, it's going to help the service to improve their practice. So does it make sense? So based on your current sentence rating, if there's some areas that you think you can improve, like you can help them to improve, just a suggestion. Okay, just most best idea is to identify which area is not as good as the other areas. Okay, so you might have 2 areas are meeting, the rest of it exceeding. Okay, then you might want to look at in these 2 quality areas and come up with some suggestion for them to improve their practice. Okay, does it make sense? Yeah, we talk about lots about quality improvement plan, so you should really have some understanding how it works. Okay, so that's the improvement suggestion. And then so then again, naming. So you have to really pay attention to the verb. Okay, when naming the policy and procedures, you do not need to explain anything. You just list and address it. Okay, what is educational and program and practice? Okay, it might have the policies like documentations of children's, children's learning documentation policy or something like that, or programming, education programming and planning policies. Okay, then it suggests that these particular areas, which policy. Okay, find 2 policy, just list it. Okay, you do not need to have a link. Okay, but if, for example, you are able to access to the online link for your services, then maybe you want to have a link. Okay. That's the policies in the center. So, if you work for the guardians, they might have a different policies. You're working for only about children, might be different, good starters might have a different. Okay. So they will all have a similar policy and procedure. Do you remember that it is developed based by the law and regulations? So they will have to address this area. So for you, you just need to find it, which policy is related to this area. Okay. So remember, just pay attention to the question very carefully. Okay. You just need to list it. Okay. So which education approach and practice are outlined in the policy and procedures? Okay. Just a few points. Yeah. What is education approach and practice? Whatever that might be, look in like in your services. Read the policies and procedures properly. Okay. And then summarize the quality areas that are addressed in the policy and procedures. Okay. So for example, sometimes summarize the quality areas that are addressed in policy and procedure. Ensure you have written the quality numbers and summarize the content. So this will be like, for example, remember we have how many quality areas? 7. Yeah. So quality area 1, I can't remember exact number, say 3. Okay. Relationship with children. Yeah. Quality area 3, relationship with children. That the policies, okay, might be interaction with children. That address the quality area 3. Yeah. The policy and procedure interaction with children address quality area 3. Okay. So you're gonna summarize the quality areas that are addressed in the policy and procedure. So quality area 1, education programming and practice. That might be which quality which policy and procedure address that. Does it make sense? Yeah.
Summarize all of 7 policies.
You know what? I'm happy, to be honest, to have looked at the training guides, so I don't want to give the wrong questions. Let me go through the training guides, okay? And then I can give you a better answer. Because I can't share it with you, so I just have to drop a little bit, look at it, and so I will task 2. Yeah. Task 2. Why is that your task 2 is different than mine? Right. So the question, okay. Right. Yeah. So that is only related to the education approach and the practice outlined in the policy and procedure. That particular area. So it might address so in the policies, it might have addressed like what program, what is education program is about, and then you just basically summarize it. So that will very likely to be the quality area 1, because that's the quality area 1 is about the education approach and practice, right? So you just summarize it in the policy and procedure. when you open, I can't give you the exact answer because every shopping center has different policy and procedures. But they will adjust the quality areas. Okay, so just take the one out, the other can copy and paste it or you summarize it. So how it
So
the policy adjusted.
With the policy and procedure, how this one,
Yeah.
and we can copy and paste all of these ones.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Because every single childcare center, their policy and procedure will adjust the quality area, and as well as the law and regulations in their policy and procedures. Yeah. And then the going forward is like each learning framework that service follow, that is just very status, okay? What's the example of learning? This is also very tricky. Can you go to the page 70? Page 70. I'm speaking very. Why is this one is different? I got 100. 140. This is less than 140. Okay, let's just go through this one. I don't know why it's like that. So example, how the early framework vision is demonstrated in the services. Okay, remember what the visions. You got to understand what early years learning framework's visions. Okay, the vision is will ensure all the children in Australia have equal quality and access to high quality and care, and that way they feel safe and supported. Is it something like that? The visions, yeah. So you might want to go around the centers, okay, to identify how this vision is demonstrated, okay. We might want to, for example, to Google what is EYF visions, okay. Okay, the aim of the EYF is to support any child, provide the teacher to extend and enrich learning from birth and throughout the transition to school. Okay, so and then you might want to take a photo of the learning areas that demonstrate the visions to enrich the programs. Can you take a photo of education and program books? Okay, snapshots of the planning. Yeah, just take a screenshot of the planning. For the weekly planning, or usually fortnightly planning. So that is evidence that how this vision is demonstrated in the service. Okay, sometimes they have a planning wall. Okay, in their services, they usually have a lot of display. Okay, even sometimes they have the vision just demonstrated on the wall. Say this is what we promoted. That's what we follow. Okay, that's also an evidence. They're following through that one. Okay, so that's how you're gonna use the attachment. Okay, but do not use any children in this. If you find that there might be some children in there, okay, we might don't want to do that. But the really good one is that take a screenshot of their programming and planning. Okay, if they have electronic ones. And then this is also quite difficult. The second question, this one, lots of people don't get it. An example of how each learning framework principle, you must list every single principles. Okay, this question, task 2, please take a note. Okay, take a note. An example of how each of the learning framework principle. Let's go have a look at what's the principle, okay? And how we're gonna have a look at it, how we're gonna have evidence. So in the Remember the task assessment task 3? It talk about the principle. Oh my goodness, running low the battery. So for example, the principle secure, respectful, and reciprocal relationship. Okay, how is demonstrated? Okay, how is demonstrated? Could be orientation process. Yeah, and could be primary caring approach policy and procedures. Yeah, are they ensuring that relationship is developed? Are they foster those secure relationships? That's the evidence. Okay, how this is principle is demonstrated in your services. Interaction with children. Yeah, interaction policies. Are they the evidence? Yeah. Got it? And then you have to list each of the principles. This is it. Each of the principles you have to list it, and you have the evidence attachment to back yourself up. Okay. For example, the interactions with children policies. Okay. Or disciplinary policies. That's also back you up, because however they displace, how they harm the relationship. Okay. Okay. So that's that. And then what you need to basically go through is the principles and also the practice. So what are the practice? Holistic approach. How is a holistic approach? Is that we're looking at children all differently. The learning through play. So for example, learning through play, that's a practice. Okay. So how are you going to do that? You might want to take a photo of your learning environment. Okay. Children just learning through play. That's it. Okay. So you understand now, you're going to list each of the principles, each of the practice, and then you're going to find the evidence that how this is demonstrated in the services. Okay. Are we clear with this one? Okay. So, and then the next question is provide 3 questions on how the framework is used by the service to practice. So focus on the answer on how education is supported by the service. Okay. For example, I have a planning time, like a planning roster, right? So that's also ensure that all the educators are familiar themselves with the EYF and how to guide their practice, not just the lead educators. Okay, that's one way. And then what about the regular professional development to foster educators' understanding of EYF? Yeah, that's one. Yeah, and then what about coaching, coaching sections? Yeah, lead educators or educational leaders might have a coaching sections with all the educators or one-on-one, something like that. Yeah, basically is how the service is going to help you to use the EYF in your practice to foster your understanding and your skill using this one. Yeah, so that's a lot of people get this question wrong as well. Okay. So we won't go through every single thing because this is not my job to go through every single thing. But you see how it works now? You kind of understand whatever that you do, you need to accurately complete the task out of you, and then you need to make sure that you have the right attachment evidence to back yourself up. Okay, that's it. That's the logbook. Okay. Yeah, and then you go through the things. Supervisor report, the same thing. Okay, and then I want to just mention a couple of things in this logbook one. There's one thing is the mandatory reporting. Okay, it's a little bit tricky because obviously there could be simulations. Like you might not lodge the mandatory reporting. They actually ask you not to report the lodge mandatory reporting. But towards the end, they ask you the task is like, have a screenshot of the mandatory reporting, the date and when it is submitted. So I got really confused as well. So are you actually gonna load something is based on simulations, right? So what I feel like what it would be appropriate, I just want to go through this one with you because it's kind of a difficult, yeah. How do I charge the laptop? I don't have a charger. This is not my laptop.
Whose laptop? It must be downstairs.
Does anyone has a USB charger?
No, that's USB charger.
This is a USB charger. I think they may be able to charge it.
USB technology.
Well, that's.
Like my MacBook, I just need a USB charger.
Well, that is Type-C one.
Would that work?
No, it's not the same.
I think that's it.
Might be able to. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, right. Thank you. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think so, but.
We see. I think so, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's good. So, where are we? Oh, yeah, mandatory reporting. Okay, so what I think it will be appropriate is for you to either use your services. Like, for example, if you like story or your based on your policies and procedures and your services, and they might have a format, okay? They might have a format, and you just need to fill out the format, okay? They pretend that you submit it, okay? But do not lodge it based on some simulation because it's actually they will be investigations. You know what I mean? So have a data, do it properly, but don't actually submit it. But take a photo, take a screenshot. It can also be like a hard copy. If they have a format, they print it out at the service. You might want to print it out, handwrite it, even it's okay. Take a photo or scan it and upload it. Okay. And those notes can be typed, can be written, handwritten, everything is fine. But just make sure that you actually need to attach a mandatory reporting. Without you actually write up the report, we don't know if you are able to do the report. Yeah, but don't actually submit it because sometimes they are based on the simulations. Okay. Yeah. So this is the logbook 1. Do you guys want to go through the logbook 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's 2 tasks on the logbook.
No.
Yes.
So for example, logbook here, logbook 1 has 4 tasks. 4 tasks. So this is basically for you to understand. The logbook 1 has a 4 tasks.
But
Because the
one was
size of the
page
account.
16 to 43. We're completing 30 pages of work. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is this is logbook 1 is quite important because they get you I prepare you to work at least ethically, legally and ethically understand what you base everything. Logbook 2 is focused on a bit more about your practice as educators. Yeah, taking observation, planning activities, reflecting on your practice. Okay, it's more on the actual education part, right? But the logbook 1 is basically that for you to learn how you're going to work ethical and legally in the service. Okay? Yeah. So now we're going to look at the logbook 2, okay? It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot of work to get certificate 3. All right, now we're going to look at logbook 2. Yeah, what I might do, Okay.
And there's only 2 logbooks.
Just 2 logbooks. Yeah. So once you complete logbook 1, you kind of understand what to do. Logbook 2, it is just going through it, going through the motions basically. Okay. It's the same thing. You kind of already know what's going on. Okay. So logbook 2 has 9 tasks. 9 tasks.
Every task has 2 each.
So this one is a 247 pages. Okay.
Do you have any notes for logbook 2?
Sorry.
Any important notes for you?
I just what we do is I show you how to do one task. The other task is the same, like you're doing the same thing but different areas. For example, implementing sustainabilities. Okay, it's what have you learned already, like how to cater for neutral baby and toddlers, how to change nappy and that kind of things. Okay, yeah. So go through the same thing. This is the tender log as the new pages. This is the way you complete logbook 2, those ones. Okay, it's the same thing. So you in the logbook 2, you actually don't need to attach the inductions, but it's just there. Okay. So, like for example, task 1, what it is about nurturing baby and toddlers. So in this unit, okay, what might ask you to do is, do you know how to wash the bottles, how to feed the baby properly, how to do the sleeping check and that kind of things? Yeah. So the question might cover working with baby up to 12 months. You see, now this is the reason why you have to let the supervisor know you might be you have to work some over 3, because this is exactly, they tell you what age group that you must do this activity. Okay. So provide an example how you communicate with the family of a baby to help the transition between home and centers. In your questions, you describe this baby's home situations and culture and things you need to keep in mind when working with the babies and help them feel safe and supported. Okay, example, how you gonna communicate with family or baby?
Through the app or in person at drop off or pickup.
Yes. So one example might be approaching a family on arrival each day to ask about their sleeping pattern, how did they sleep last night, and how long you would prefer for this baby to go to sleep and what time. Yeah. So it's transition from home to the care. So some parents maybe say, okay, I think she woke up quite early today. So maybe her first nap should be 9 o'clock or maybe 9:30. And then the second sleep should be roughly around 2 o'clock because she didn't have a good sleep last night. Yeah. So communicating with the parents on arrival each day to discuss a child's sleeping patterns, signs of illness, if they get any sick or anything, right? So that is just how you communicate with family to help them transition between home and care. And another example, you could be, right, greet the families warmly, right, by, set up the certain transition routines. Yeah. So that certain transition routine could be reading the book with a child, okay, and give a hug, every time that. What about you greet the family with like their home language, if they're different from English. So that helped the transition as well. Or give out the reading out the, not the reading out the same thing, but reach out the hands, hug the babies every single time. Yeah. So make sure the baby feel very secure. And then go through the same rituals each time when this child arrives. Yeah. That can help children to settle in. Okay. So that's example. Yeah. So what it asks of you is what you do while you do your placement. How you mindfully to do all those activities. Okay. And then you reflect on your workplace with the same baby as above. How do you engage with baby during the drop-off time where family is still present to ease the transition between the home and care? How you engage with this baby during the drop-off time when family is still present? Okay, so you might be, if the mom is still there and the mom may be sitting next to you, what you might do during this time is do activity with mom and the baby together. You know, maybe you want to lay out some play-dohs. You know, you might sit alongside with the mom and or the parents with this baby, interact with these babies, and asking how the day is. That is going to help this this child to feel much more secure. Okay, that's how you engage with the baby. Yeah, while the parents are present. Okay, during your work with the baby and family, describe the time stress was involved during drop-off time and write down how you reassure the families. Okay, so how are you gonna do if the baby start crying and things like that? So on what you might want to do is on orientations, you know, you might have to sort of set out expectation for the parents, say this is completely normal. Yeah, explain to the parents, even on orientations, stress, separation anxiety might happen, usually will happen. And then that's definitely is a developmental appropriate, emotional development appropriate for the child. Okay. And it is a good thing a child is display some anxieties, because this means this child is on track with the development. Okay. So I reassure the parent this is completely normal and is development appropriate. Okay. And then another thing what you can do is give the parents a quick strategy, a strategy to have a, you know, don't come and stay for too long and let the baby have a feeling that you might lingering or you might stay, right? So have a set of very clear expectations for the parents, okay, dealing with this time of stress. And then reassure the parents, say, I will give you a call once the baby is settled. Okay, and if she's not settling in half hour, she's not settling whole day, we might give you a call and you can come and collect them, to give them the options, okay, for the parents. Okay, so that's your strategy, how to deal with these stressful situations. Okay, so basically just whatever you do, it might look very different. Each of the educator might have a different approach, but basically just record what you think is appropriate and what you actually do. Okay. So you go through a lot of questions. Basically, they want to know about your things. And now, here we go. It's a paper clip. Okay. This is a permission to observe for this baby. So you must to ask this particular baby parents permission to just observe this child. Okay. And then, so basically, this is the same thing. You just go through each questions, answer it. Yeah. And then you reflect on things, and then you're going to do the reflections. And now that's one, right? And then you look at working at with the toddler between 13 to 23 months. So basically 1 to 2. Okay. And then it's basically the same thing. Whatever, it might be slightly different. Okay, so you just fill it all up, and then again permission records with these toddlers. Okay, let's go through the question, the task 2. Again, this one here, have you seen this supervisor report? Task 2 supervisor report. And in this one, it's also have assessor observations. So the assess observations, that's for me, that for anyone who come and assess you, they need to tick. Okay, only this one, they need to tick. But because the assessor checklist, it's already covered this bit here. So the assessor will have to fill this one, but your supervisor need to write this one, okay? And then the date, observers' names and positions can be supervisor and supervisor signature. Okay, so you got the ticket, okay, tick in here. And don't forget this one here, okay? So basically, just complete the supervisor report. This supervisor report is a little bit different than before, isn't it? Yeah, so again, just tick, 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 and then comment. The same thing, okay? Now task 2, support holistic learning and development of children. Okay, so basically it is a similar thing that you go to do the assessment. The question is a little bit different, but it's the same thing. You just basically have to demonstrate everything that you learn, that you are using it. So doesn't miss anything, okay? So part of this training, it has to be covered every single one of it. So all the unit you have done, it will reflect on the work placement, okay? So this is reflective journal support holistic of 2 children of different age. Okay, baby and toddler, permission to observe. It's you see the permission form is in a canvas. And look at this one, they must be different age. One of the children must be from home that has English as a second language. Where you have to looking for a child, their home language is not English. Yeah, so this is where you need to ask your supervisor for report or support. Okay, so they might tell you, okay, this one the family only speak Spanish at home, so this is where this is the child that you're looking for. Okay, so look at this one, organizations standards. When we talk about organization standards, about the physical environment, you should go to the ECEC. That's organization standards in there, right? And again, that 3 opportunity identify you support merging physical skill of the child. And then again, you need to have a photo or entries on the daily diary, artworks. Okay. So for example, that's how you support the physical fine motor skill, merging fine motor skill. A child is learning how to hold a pen. So you might want to take a photo of this child scrubbing on with the pen, writing, okay, or tracing or something. Yeah, you can use the hour. You can take a photos, okay. And if a physical environment, you might set up an outdoor environment where the children is learning how to climb. Yeah, baby might want to climb over the tunnels. Yeah, you're supporting them do the climbing, the crawling. Yeah, or climbing frame for maybe 1 to 2 years old. Okay, so that's how you support the example, how you support those children's environment. Okay, so this one, how you use a daily routine support the skill to acquire new skill and practice. Yeah, a child may be learning how to use a spoon. Yeah, so a baby might learn how to use spoon. That's a new skill for them. Okay, so you might want to offer a baby a spoon to hold on to learn how to self-feed. While at the same time, you have another spoon, you're also feeding the baby, okay? No, I think you are allowed to. Just make sure that you don't take a photo of the children. That's why when we talk about the boundary, you need to ask your services like what the boundaries are. You want to say, okay, I know that I'm not allowed to take my phone into the services, okay, or the classroom. Maybe some of them they can, okay, but can I use a camera? Yeah, just the normal camera, or can I use your iPad to take some photos? And then after you take the photos, maybe use the iPad to send it to you, okay? so that you are not using your personal phone. Okay. Another thing that is be mindful of that if the parents, apart from the parents give you the permission form, you should not take photo of any other children. Be aware of that boundary as well, because it's a privacy confidentialities. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this is it. This is you need to do all of the things basically on your by yourself. But the good way to do this task is to reflect on the unit that you have done. A lot of questions are similar to the question that you have done. Okay. Yeah. Are we clear on this one? Night task. Yeah. Week 10. For example, my logbook, they submitted. Yeah. No, you need to submit the logbook 1 by week 4 or week 5. Yeah. And after that, logbook 2 will be due at the end of the term, end of the year placement. Yes. You can finish your work placement and then complete your logbook 2. It's fine. But if you are to move on to the diploma, then you must to mark everything. Logbook 1 need to be complete and satisfactory. Sorry?
Are you gonna do work placement again when we study diploma?
Yeah, that's the whole lot set, different set.
Which are the 2 different places.
One is like, I think it's 61 is what we are.
Is that 280? So the good thing is when you do your workplace, if you are working in the childcare, why is diploma is actually easier than certificate 3? Because by the time you should gain your employment, you should be able to use your work placement your work hour as work placement hours. You know what I mean? If you already hired as a certificate 3 educators and you work in the center,
And it can show our so I can show right now my work times again.
So some students, yeah. So some students may not able to work with basically, you know, we can generate those hours, right? But still, you guys have a work limit, hour limit. So that's a big problem. So you have to work, cover some of the hours that also work voluntarily. Okay. Yeah. But if you have unlimited work hours each week, use 5 hours. Every week is 40 hours. You know, 4 weeks, 160 hours. It's how many hours you need to do for diploma? 280 per term.
Last term is the 160.
Yeah. What is my like a full term? It would be 20.
Term 1, 4 hours. 40 hours. 4 weeks. Last term is the same as 160 hours.
40 plus 160 is over
40, 40.
Oh,
Right, you have it.
yeah.
Right, I see. So what happens is they break it down, those delivery in the classroom, rather than we teach you in the classroom, they use like those hours you meant to be in the classroom, go into the workplace. So every 40 weeks, 40 hours, maybe 2 weeks of work placement. Yeah, 20 hours each week, and then maybe 2 weeks. So which is means for 1 term is about like 10 weeks. So maybe on the class, they maybe have 8 weeks on class, and then after that, 2 weeks on the workplace. Yeah. So it makes sense too. So if you're working there already, so you might as well use those hours as educators. You can still use it. I think so. Yeah. So it means you have a 2 weeks holiday, isn't it? Yeah. So in the end, it will be similar, 160 hours, still 1 term. I don't know how it works. I think that's what they said. It's not too hard. Sorry?
Anyone single?
Why? Anyone single? You have, we are in the recording here right now. All right. So are we clear on this? I'm gonna stop the recording now, okay? Okay. One more thing, okay? Yes? Yeah, one more thing. Like I said, I think AOG does not have the instructions of educators, the forms, okay? So what I prefer you to do is to print out a form if you just don't do a student, if you haven't been working there, no one knows who you are, okay? Print out the form, remember the philosophy that we asked you to do? You remember that? Yeah? Change the wording a little bit, okay? Introduce yourself, say, hi, I'm Diaz. I'm a student for Australian Learning Group. I will be doing my work placement with Guardians College Street here, okay? And then and then you just brief, like I came from wherever, you know, and then just to introduce yourself. And then after that, you print it out, and then you display it in whichever classroom that you're going to do your work placement. So for example, you might be doing the nursery, okay? Maybe 2 or 3 days, or whatever, like not 2 or 3 days. During that time, there should be display in the classroom by the door. And then once you're finished, you might go to pre-kinder. The pre-kinder families, children's family does not know who you are. Yeah, bring it with you, and then display it by the door. Okay? So that's much more professional. Okay? This is it. Yeah? Any questions? No questions? We're traveling quite well, yeah? Yeah. All good? Okay. Okay, I don't know how to do this stop the videos. Yeah. I want to stop the videos and then send it to everyone. Yeah, thank you. And the meeting. And the meeting. Who's going to check? Just and the meeting. Chantel.
Chantel, why you said me? Where's Chantel? She just put it on the group file. Oh, you're gonna close the video. It's gonna automatically save it, yeah? I hope. I stopped the video. Can you tell me?
Yeah. How to? No. Wait. How do I stop it? Just close the meeting. The video will be. How do I find out the videos? Where the video will be?
It's gonna be saved on the laptop.
Will be saved by you, Hon? If I stop the meeting now, will you be saving the video?
Yeah, just stop it.
Okay. How do I stop it now?
No, the stop share.
Stop share?
Yeah. I think we can.
Okay, you sort it out.
Why is my name here? Just stop recording here. And
Can we
then,
go eat lunch?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Come back at 1 o'clock, okay? Yeah.
what? I think we already stopped recording. Chat. I think just end it. Yeah.